Oh, wait, no, we're good. Hola muchachos, welcome here. Today is not a beauty video, and I feel like a lot of my channel is just like slowly transitioning into something that's not like a full-on beauty channel. I'm thinking about doing a video on it because even though I love beauty, makeup, there's so many things that I honestly enjoy like way more that I want to get the opportunity to share with you guys. But that's like a whole other video. We'll see what happens. But with baby number 3 on the way, I've been talking to you guys a lot in just random videos and updates about prepping myself for labor and how I've prepped myself in the past with my daughter and my son, and how I end up having incredible labors both times, healing really quickly, feeling awesome in my labors. And I always just keep saying, make sure to prep yourself for labor, prep yourself for labor. And so many people are like, what does that mean? So in this video, I'm going to show you ways that I guarantee, and I say that strongly, I guarantee you will have an easier labor if you follow these tools, because these aren't just small things that you can like pick and choose from. These aren't just like steps. These are literal tools that you can use religiously and faithfully in your everyday or weekly life that is going to make your labor so much easier. It's a big claim to guarantee something like that, but honestly, if you don't do these things, or you can do the opposite of these things, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure it out that you're gonna have a more tough labor. Also, genetics plays a huge role, so always take that into account. But this is just my tips. This is what I'm sharing. If you're pregnant, if you're about to give birth, if you're looking into being pregnant, these are things that I think will just maybe really help you. If you're curious what's on my lips, it's YSL's Couture Matte Stain in the color 22. Something about wearing white and black stripes with gold jewelry and like bright lips is so fun. So anyway, I want to talk to you guys about fitness. I feel like a lot of people, when they're pregnant, can put fitness on the back burner, and it's something that is too uncomfortable. It takes too much time. Does it really help? Oh my goodness, does it ever help? I was someone that was active with my 2 pregnancies from start to finish, and that meant full out jogging, running, squats, moving just all the time, and I'm continuing that in this 3rd pregnancy because it made my previous pregnancies easier in that present time. I was able to carry easier, move around easier. When I had my 2nd, I was able to keep up with my daughter and still continually move around. I didn't feel like pregnancy was something that held me back physically, and I totally give that to just fitness stuff. So I want to be more specific because some people can hear fitness and think like deadlifting, weights, jump rope, and it's different for everyone. But when it comes to something that's so specific as labor, there are certain things that you can do that are going to really open up your hips and your pelvis, and it's gonna help your baby sit in a really comfortable position. It's comfortable for you, it's comfortable for baby, and it's gonna be a lot more comfortable when you start pushing baby out. These are things I've picked up along the way, whether from my midwife or my doula or even my like prenatal chiropractor. So these are all very safe to do in pregnancy, but again, always check with whoever is taking care of you in your pregnancy to see if these are okay to do. I owe a lot of my easy labors to squats. You can do regular squats, which are actually really great, but make sure when you do it that you're tightening your abs, you're really holding and uplifting your belly in your abs, and you're taking your time going up and down. So I like to do regular squats going up and down, and then do some sort of like a pulse. That creates a really good burn. Also, if you do a lot, I do 500 squats a day, 4 times a week. It kind of also covers a little bit of cardio too. I'm not saying you have to do 500 squats, but start from what's comfortable for you and move on from there. But the number 1 squat that I can really encourage you to do would be the Ballerina Plie squat. So it's where you take your legs and you just kind of open, have your feet kind of pointed, not straight side to side, but a little more open, and do the ballerina squats and go down, not deep, but go down enough that it feels like it's really kind of getting hard to push yourself back up. Again, holding your abs and squeezing your abs, that's gonna help you carry your baby really well for your whole pregnancy. It's gonna also help when it comes to being in labor and pushing, but this is going to open up your pelvic floor. This is going to help your baby be delivered a lot more easy. If you're a pregnant mama and your legs are always crossed, your legs are always together, you're really stopping your body from being able to naturally open, and then even almost unnaturally open all the more so. That's going to make it easier for when your baby is starting to come through. I also really recommend deep squats. This is something that can be really uncomfortable if you've never done it before, and it can take a little bit of time kind of the same thing as, you know, like leaning over and touching your toes. It can take some time to build it up, but once you get there, this is so golden and probably one of the #1 positions that are recommended training your body for labor, and then also just being in the midst of labor. So deep hold squats, you have your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, whatever is most comfortable for you, and then you're going to literally just sit all the way down. This is actually a very healthy position to be in. If you're pregnant and even constipated, this can help move things along, but again, this is something that's going to not just open up your pelvis, but this is going to stretch out your pelvis in a good way. It's going to let your muscles know that when they're stretching out like this, it's not a bad thing, this is normal, and it's good to keep those muscles very flexible, and it's great also just for intimate life. Again, focusing on kind of the inner leg, the inner part of your thigh, that pelvis groin area, any stretch that is going to really pull that in a good, safe way is awesome. So I like doing ones where you just sit on your bum, you put your feet together, just the classic, and you lean forward, or you can just take your hands and push your knees down to the ground, or you can do the one where you just have your legs completely out side to side and then you're leaning forward. That's a good stretch. It's really important when you're pregnant and pre-labor to have a nice open, relaxed inner thigh. I also recommend that you give you and your baby as much room as possible. I don't know if this helps so much in labor, but I know that if your baby is breech, this can help your baby turn a little bit, or if you just feel like you're uncomfortable, this can help a lot to give you and your baby more room. So a lot of the time when you're pregnant, you kind of slump over like this. I mean, I always do that. I have the worst posture ever, and I'm totally working on it, but you have this feeling of this weight in front of you and you crunch over. But I really recommend just sitting on the ground and lifting and lifting. Lift your heart and your lungs, pull your shoulders back, and you can do some stretches side to side while you're just really elongated. I remember doing this with my pregnancies. I'm not so much there yet. I do it here and there, but it's usually after about 25 weeks you really feel like you're just kind of stuffed. But it's great to pull up, give you and your baby lots of room, and suddenly you have air in your lungs and you can breathe almost normal. This is really important to get air into your lungs when you're in labor. This can be something that's actually going to help remove some of the nerve pain that you can get in your belly, and it's going to make sure that you're just getting a lot of air into your lungs. Oxygen is important when you're in labor, and also make sure you go on walks. If you can, jog. I still do running, which is really, really great. And one of my last fitness tips is make sure you swap out almost all your most used chairs for an exercise ball. Just that exercise yoga ball. It's really comfortable to sit on, and again, you can sit with your legs a little more far apart. Instead of having your knees together, just really open your legs, and that's again going to open up the pelvis and make delivering your baby a lot easier. Moving on to food, and again, this is something you can start right away as soon as you know you're pregnant. You need to eat well and you need to fuel your body. I would never feed my son Calvin fast food or tons of sugars, you know, like I would just not do that, and he's 9 months old. Where you got to think about it, the baby in your womb is how many weeks, how many months, whatever. Would you want to feed on a daily basis or multiple week basis? No, of course not. I'm not saying it's bad to have those things, because since his pregnancy, I'm pretty sure I've had McDonald's 3 times and I'm getting close to 20 weeks. I keep forgetting where I am. I'm not saying totally deprive yourself, but I'm saying take care of your body and your baby when it comes to what you eat. If you gain a lot of weight in your pregnancy, and some people can't help it. That's the thing. Some people really just gain a lot of weight and they can't help it, but some people really can control it, but then they lose control and they gain a lot of weight. I can tell you, being someone who's slender and has eaten really well in her pregnancies and worked out, when I'm in labor, I don't have to work against anything. It's just my body and my baby, and postpartum is a lot easier. I don't have to worry about tons of weight loss. Talk to your midwife or doctor how much weight is usual or healthy to gain, because you do gain weight in your pregnancies. So when I say fuel your body and eat well, ditch white breads, white flours, Rogers sugar, fructose, glucose, excess dairy, because actually lots of hormones are sitting in dairy and it's not good for you or your baby. Sugary drinks, like we all love ice caps, we all love lemonade. You shouldn't have them. You can make your own healthy version with natural organic ingredients, but going to Tim Hortons having ice caps every day is not good. Instead, I encourage you guys to have smoothies, whole grains, lots of organic food, fruits, vegetables, oatmeals. If you're gonna have cereal, don't just buy like Kellogg's, fiber cereal. The amount of sugar in that is disgusting. Go to a natural food store, the natural food aisle, and go and look at some nice organic cereals. Eat well. It's going to make a huge difference. If someone is about to run a marathon and the entire time that they've been training for this marathon they really haven't been, because they're like, oh, it'll come when it comes and I'll deal with it when I get there. No one does that. The people eat properly and they exercise properly because they do need to train for this. Just like marathon people, you need to train your body for labor. Next is for when you're into your third trimester, around 30 to 35 weeks. Again, talk with your doctor and your midwife when you can start these things, but I did it with my daughter and my son, and I know it made a significant difference, and I'm so thankful that I did these things. Red raspberry leaf tea. Everybody talks about it. It can't be raspberry tea. It needs to be red raspberry leaf tea. You can get it at your local grocery store and drink that sucker up. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, I started taking that at 35 weeks. And then with my son, my midwife actually said, oh, you can take it around 33, 34. And this time around, I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of 33, 34 weeks. Start off with 1 cup a day and then just make your dose bigger and bigger and bigger. It ripens your cervix. Having a ripe cervix means faster dilation and no problems with your cervix. Some people don't realize in labor, your cervix can actually have a tough time, but having a really healthy, ripened cervix gonna make labor so much easier. Next is evening primrose oil. I usually start taking this around 35 weeks. So you can take it orally. I would take a couple orally, and then I'd also take a couple vaginally. And I would take like 2 or 3 capsules. They're like the gel capsules, and you just kind of stick them up yourself. That's going to soften your cervix. So having a really ripe cervix and then also having a really soft one, that's going to help labor encourage itself, but not come before your body is ready. You know what I mean? So it'll not only soften your cervix, but it's gonna also moisturize and soften the inside of your vagina wall. A lot of people can tear here, and some people still do if they do evening primrose oil, but it's either not as bad, not as painful, or it makes the healing process easier. So primrose oil is great. I also recommend with the primrose oil, if you can like break a capsule, put it into your hand, and a couple drops of lavender essential oil. Lavender essential oil pretty much helps with elasticity in the skin. It helps your skin become a little bit more pliable and flexible. I did this with my son and I never tore. It was my second labor, so a lot of people be like, oh, well, duh. But I do think that it helped. I also had 0 burning with my son. With my daughter, I had that horrible hot burning sensation, really, really bad. And then with my son, I didn't have that, like no burning. I thought something was wrong. Like I had no burning. And my midwife said my skin just naturally pulled away so beautifully. So I really recommend, that was around 34 weeks I started implementing that, rubbing that on myself and just wearing a pad before bed, sleeping with it in the morning, you wipe yourself, and you just do that every single day. It makes a huge difference. Also taking baths, anything like taking baths, drinking lots of water, like really hydrate yourself because your skin is going to be a lot more elastic. So drinking water, of course, actually while we're talking about that, I'm thirsty, but taking baths in lavender, Epsom salts, but it's helping to really kind of soften that area, and that's when I encourage you to do perennial stretching. You can Google this. I'm not gonna get into this really like detailed. There's lots of sites you can look at and that are like cartoon, or you know, like it's not bad. But you take your thumbs and you pretty much insert it into your vagina and you just start kind of pulling away and stretching. Kind of uncomfortable if you've never done it before, but again, it's just kind of helping your skin be pulled a little bit and get used to the feeling of being pulled and create somewhat of a more elastic consistency and pliability to the skin than something that's just very like this, and then the baby comes out and it just doesn't know what to do. And you'll thank me for doing that one day. You will totally thank me. Thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful. If you're a mama and you're pregnant and you're expecting your first, second, third, fourth, fifth child, let me know down below and let me know how far along you are. And let me know if you have any tips for just pregnancy or labor. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!